The first misalignment we're showing here is coplanar. As you can see, this frame has one lens that is closer to the eye than the other, but the temple spread is perpendicular at 90 degrees to the frame front. The first misalignment we are going to correct is coplanar. The way that you want to do this is by heating the bridge first, and then we are going to get both lenses to be parallel to one another. Once the bridge is heated, you want to push and pull the lenses in opposite directions without the hands twisting until both lenses are parallel. In this example, as we look at the frame from the front, we can see that the left lens is higher than the other. This is because the bridge is completely crooked, making it a screwed bridge misalignment. Now we're going to work on aligning the skewed bridge on this frame. And what you want to do is, using your hands, you're going to grasp on to both eye wires and you're going to push and pull down or up to align the bridge until both lenses are leveled. The next example shows X-ing misalignment. In this type of issue, we see that one of the lenses might be touching the eyebrow more or the cheek more, and it can be viewed directly from the top, as we notice that the bridge is twisted. To adjust the X-ing misalignment on a metal frame, we want to grasp with our hands again the right and left eye wires, and then we're going to twist the bridge in opposite directions, and all we're trying to do is twist it until the planes of the lenses are parallel. You'll see when I put the frame back down on the index card that the lenses will be at the same in the same level, so one is not twisted anymore. Temple parallelism misalignment can be noticed one of two ways. The first being, in this case, when it is upside down, the temple will not touch the table like the other one will. And if the frame were on the patient's face, you will notice that one side of the glasses will be higher up than the other. For this frame, we have a temple parallelism misalignment. If the patient were wearing these frames, this side of the glasses would be lower on their face. So in order to fix this, we are going to use our wide jaw angling pliers to push it down so that it will be level on their face. If you turn the frame upside down, you will notice with temple parallelism misalignment that neither of the legs are touching simultaneously. One will be up in the air. So we are going to hold here for support in the front of the frame, and we are just going to slowly, with the wide jaw angling pliers, push down on For temple spread alignment, we are looking that the temples are both perpendicular to the frame front. In this case, we're mostly looking at this temple over here. It seems to go out a little bit more than 90 degrees. We want both temples to kind of make a U so that it doesn't fall down on the patient's face. To correct this misalignment, we're going to use our half padded pliers and putting the padded nylon side on the outside of the frame to keep it from ruining the material. We're going to grab onto the front and placing the half padded pliers, we're going to softly push in until we get a nice 90-degree angle on each side. Okay, and there we can see that the temples are much more perpendicular and at 90 degrees to the frame front. For this particular pair of frames, we are observing temple bend misalignment. You'll want to look specifically at the temple bend tip and notice that when it is right side up, the tip will not touch the table simultaneously as to the other one. But when it is upside down, they will both be touching the table perfectly. To fix the temple bend misalignment, you do need the frame to be sitting the way that it would be on the patient, because we're mostly concentrating on the temple tip here and how this one is up in the air, meaning that the opposite temple, if you notice it, compared to this one, which is more of a 45-degree angle, is very bent straight down. So in order to correct this, we're gonna heat the temple a little bit to straighten it completely and then realign it to bend down correctly like the other temple. When you're straightening it out, you want to make sure that there are no bumps on it, that it's as straight as possible. Okay. And now using your thumb for reference, you want to bend just a little bit. Until both temple tips are touching the glasses. The next misalignment is temple folds. This you actually won't be able to notice when the patient has the glasses on until you fold the temples. And as you can see on this pair of glasses, they don't overlap. They're just kind of bending down in an angle. We're gonna go ahead and work on the temple fold misalignment. As I explained earlier, when the patient has this on, it's not really gonna be noticeable until they go ahead and close the legs. And you'll see that they go down at an angle where they should be overlapping evenly, more like this. So we're gonna go ahead and using our wide jaw hanging pliers again, we are going to hold it at the hinges and push vertically until the legs overlap much more than they are now. On this frame, we're observing face form misalignment. This particular frame has too much of it, too much positive face form. As you can see, there's no 4-point touch when the ruler is placed behind the frame front. Only the end pieces are touching the ruler. if the patient were to be wearing this, there would appear to be too much wrap. For this frame, we're gonna be focusing on aligning the face form. This frame has too much positive face form, and we'll usually need double padded pliers for this, but I don't have that in my toolkit. So using my hands, I'm going to place my thumbs on the inside and my fingers on the outside to get rid of some of that face form that we have on this frame. Okay, so now if we were to place the ruler behind the frame front, you'll see that we have more 4-point touch, and we can do it just a little bit more. Until they're about at the same distance. On this frame, we're showing panoscopic tilt. This occurs when the bottom of the frame is very close to the patient's cheeks, while the top is very mainly just far away from the eyebrows and the eyes themselves. We're gonna go ahead and adjust the panoscopic tilt on this frame using our wide jaw angling pliers. We're gonna move the temples up so that the front of the frame is not as angled anymore. It's a little bit straighter. We're gonna support the frame front. We're gonna place the wide jaw angling pliers here and just push up on the temple. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. And as you can see, there is not as much panoscopic tilt on either side. Besides panoscopic tilt, we can also have a rotoscopic tilt on glasses. When they're facing upside down, you can see here that the top of the lenses is a little bit closer than the bottom. And if it were on the patient's face, you'll also notice that the top would be closer to their eyes and their eyebrows compared to the bottoms. It would be farther away from the cheeks. Alrighty, on this frame, we're gonna be correcting the rotoscopic tilt. We're gonna do the opposite of what we did to fix the panoscopic tilt, but using the same tool, the wide jaw angling pliers, we're gonna push down on the temple. So still holding to the front of the eye wire for support, and just slowly push down a little. And as you can see now, the front of the frame is a little bit straighter and not so much angled out. The last misalignment we're going to be working on is a rotated lens. As you can see on this frame, while everything else looks aligned, this temple, this part of the eye wire is a little bit higher than the other. So using our lens axis pliers, we're gonna go ahead and rotate that back into place. Okay, and now as you can see, both of the temples are back into the same height. Okay, now we're gonna be talking about nose pad misalignments. First, we're gonna be starting with a frontal misalignment. As you can see, when I put these frames on the patient, the nose pads are completely straight up and down. You don't want this to be resting on the nose like this. You want these pads to be angled a bit more towards the eyewear on the bottom and out towards the bridge on the top, so that both nose pads are resting evenly on the sides of the nose. That, using our nose pad pliers, you just want to angle both nose pads so that they rest at about 20 degrees on each side. Right, and now when we put it back on the patients, you can see that it fully rests on each side of the nose. The next nose pad misalignment that we're looking at is a vertical misalignment. This one can be observed from the side, and as you can see, the frame is very close to her eyes, so her eyelashes don't really have any space to move. In order to correct this, we're going to be using a flat round plier, and we will be giving it about 10 to 15 degrees of a vertical angle. As you can see now, the frame has moved forward a little bit, and so now there's some extra space for her lashes to move. The final nose pad misalignment is going to be splay angle. As you can see, the nose pads on this patient, the front part of it is digging into the skin of her nose, and that can be very uncomfortable. So in order to fix this, we're going to use our nose pad pliers again. And we're just going to be angling it at about 25 to 30 degrees. Okay, and now as you can see, they are evenly resting on her nose, not digging from the front or the back. Alright, now we're just going to be replacing a snap-in nose pad. So you want to use your needle nose pliers and gently just pull it out. Okay, and then we're just going to grab a new nose pad. And using the needle nose pliers, again, if it's a little too hard to push in, you get it back in there. What we're going to be doing is a screw-on nose pad. For this, you will be needing a screwdriver. Make sure you have the appropriate head and size. We're going to be using our finger to rest the screwdriver so that it doesn't scratch the lens. You slowly just want to get the screw to come out. If you don't have a plier available, you can simply pull it out with your finger, remove the nose pad, and put the new one in place. And again, we're just going to place the screw back in there.